Greetings. Welcome to a Tuesday episode of ForgeCraft 2. We are starting in the Botania area. We are not going to do Botania today, though. I wanted to touch base with everybody real quick. First of all, the Ring of Correction, and specifically all of this stuff, okay? Originally, last episode, I put on the Ring of Correction, and I was actually kind of surprised that this worked on other blocks. Well, it's just a really good break speed with dirt or wood. It's not actually using it properly. Now, here's the thing, though. Originally, when the Ring of Correction was put in, this actually did make any tool behave as any other tool. You didn't swap constantly. At some point after that initial exposure I had to somebody else using Botania, and I have talked to some of the smartest people I know about Botania, this has been changed to where now it swaps between the tools, which means now I think if I put, let's take this off, put this on, see, I start trying to break a block and it changes to a shovel. If I go over here to a tree, it'll change to an axe automatically. If I come over here to stone, it changes to a pickaxe. That's the way it's supposed to work. Now here's the hitch, though. It's extremely buggy, and I don't really like it because, whoops, that's the wrong ring. There we go. What it's supposed to be doing is swapping between those. However, there's a lot of the new stone that it doesn't know. And there's a lot of new modded materials that it doesn't know. So let's see if I have some andesite. Andesite is specifically, if I put this down in the world, it says break with pickaxe, but the Ring of Correction wants to use the shovel. There's other kinds of stone that come in from mods that it wants to actually use the axe for some stupid reason. For the packed dice and hardened dice, which packed dice is vanilla, by the way, it wants to use... I think packed dice is vanilla. Hang on a sec. Let's look. Packed. Let's get one of those. Yeah, it's vanilla. Packed dice is vanilla, and it wants to use an axe on packed dice, not a pickaxe. For snow, it wants to use a pickaxe, not a shovel, etc., etc. The Ring of Correction is very, very buggy. But, yes, it has changed from its original implementation, and I had old information. I'm sorry about that, but you guys need to give me some more leeway on this. I don't claim to be an expert. If you're looking for somebody that professionally and absolutely knows everything, you're watching the wrong dude. I'm just going to warn you right now. So, I have a mana distributor splitting off into 3 pools. This pool is now linked to a mana mirror instead of a mana tablet. This way I don't have to come back and refill it constantly. I've also got a spark on this, and on this. Another quick comment, when you put down the books to start enchanting, you don't have to leave them there. Do not. I started enchanting this, and yes, I realized after I recorded the episode that I was trying to put Silk Touch and Fortune on one thing, and you can't do that, it's one or the other. So I would rather have Silk Touch. Silk Touch. So yeah, basically... well, at least say hello to YouTube for me. Great to see you back on the server, at least. Hello, YouTube. That's Crazy Pants. Crazy Pants is actually the original author, the creator of Ender.io. It has since been passed on to another development team. He helps kind of manage. He checks in. But other than that, he's a really nice dude. I really do like him. Goodbye, YouTube. Okay. You do not have to leave the books here for the entire enchanting process. I want you guys to know that. You just have to put them down. When you right-click with the branch and it detects them and you get the circle lit up, you can pick those books back up. I did it several times, over and over, and I can do it again if you so want me to. Now, we're going to move away from Botania. I have made, let's see, Sojourner Sash. It lets you actually do some, it gives me higher jumping and it gives me step assist and a faster movement. General stuff. It has a lot of overlap with this armor, but I specifically made it in anticipation that I would replace this armor eventually. Let's see. I made a Terra Steel blade, a Terra blade, and I really like it. It's got this really neat effect. Let me see if I can find an unwilling target. It looks like all of the critters. Whoop, there's a pig around here somewhere. Here, piggy, piggy, piggy. There we go. A few deft swings, and it actually fires this beam out that does just as much damage as the blade itself. And mine is sharpness and looting. So it's serving me very well as a weapon. However, quite often when I right-click on a chest, let me see if I can get it to do it. If you listen. See? It just did it. Periodically, you'll actually right-click on a chest and fire a beam out. So I have to be careful because that beam goes through things. So if I'm doing that, that just went all the way through over here and killed whoever was on the other side of my coop. So I've become very paranoid about what I right-click stuff with recently. Okay. I'm going to put this, stuff right here. I just pull those out when needed. So we're going to go from the Botania area, opposite corner, to the bees. As you can see, I have been bee busy lately. I have lots and lots of flowers. I did not plant these. They just grow on their own. I've been using these apiaries with, oh gosh, let's see, common drones and some modest drones. And some sorceress drones. That's a desert breed. I still need to actually get, let's see. I got a marshy queen and a marshy drone. Okay, let me go over this real quick. First of all, I made my little shed, and my shed has a problem. Hold on. I moved that for a specific purpose and then didn't need it later. I'm probably going to swap this out back here, this little panel, for more slope straight down, so it just looks like a little sloped lean-to. I think that'll look better. We'll see, though. Yeah. So I just have this little shed. I can stand up here and see stuff if I want to, but for the most part, this is to keep the rain off of my machines and the sun out of my... I'm just going to put that there somewhere. Sun out of my eyes. Okay. So I have decided to branch into bees some and into gendistry. Now, originally I was going to go with Benny's mod, genetics. However, genetics requires an extensive amount of machines that would require at least 3 times the amount of space for this. So I decided to go with the more compact but more power-hungry solution, and that is gendistry. Okay, these machines use an absurd amount of RF per tick. It's just, it's I wouldn't say it's unreasonable based upon what you're doing with it, but it's pretty heavy. If you look real quick, let's look at gendistry. Okay. The first machine that I actually made was a mutagen producer. This thing right here, mutagen producer, and then I put a tank right next to it. It actually will auto-export to the tank, which is really nice. I did set up the tank to pull, just for giggles, but I actually didn't need to do that because this machine will automatically export to a tank or an adjacent machine. Now, this is the Mutatron. I have this tank set to automatically, I think, push out. It's either that or I have a pipe under here. I can't remember. Hang on a sec. Let's get ourselves a wrench. And, oh yeah, pipe underneath. Yeah, okay. Because other machines can use it. So I actually don't need to do that. So basically it pipes out and there's a line of mutagen piping over here because I think some of the other machines might actually use it. Or I think I just took it over here. So I was thinking about actually having 2 Mutatrons. But anyway, so there's the Mutatron and the mutagen producer. Now, these are very basic. You put specific material in here. Redstone generates about 900 millibuckets. a little less than a bucket of mutagen. A block of uranium generates almost 5 buckets. It's 4.5 buckets of mutagen, which is awesome, because all I have to do to make this is yellorium. And I'm not using my yellorium this go round. I'm not making a yellorium or a big reactor. So all the yellorium I've been finding through mining, I've been using for mutagen and for other things. Now this is an array of 6 thermoelectric generators. This is, let's see, 40, 80, so that's 80 right there. 160, 240 RF per tick, passive generated power. That is packed ice and uranium. No fire hazards, no running water, straight passive capability. And I love it. These things are all hooked up right here to my own capacitor bank. As you can actually see, this thing is actually sending power back to the main house now, because this goes down underground, whoa, zigzag, and you can probably see right there, boop, comes up through the floor in the actual house. I have hooked this up to the mains, so to speak. So the house is now getting powered up with the passive power, but the passive power is from the house is also being shared with the passive power at the bees. So I have one giant pool of energy now that I can move around as need be. Anyway, so I have also upgraded to vibrant conduits. That gives me 20,000 RF per tick of power movement, which I definitely need. So yeah, down here, that zigzags and goes all the way over there and goes up through the leg, whoa, of the actual coop. Can't even see it unless you have a wrench out. It's easy peasy. I like it. So anyway, these machines are very power hungry. I have about 240 RF per tick of power generation over there. I have about 240 over here. So total, I have somewhere between 480 to 540, depending upon the time of day, I think. I have about 500 RF per tick of total power generation, and these machines will black that system out. So I'm going to be upgrading my power storage long term. And I need to upgrade the solar panels on the roof, but that's another project for not today. Okay. I started off by making a mutagen producer. So I could start making mutagen, so you could actually make a mutatron. What does the mutatron do? Well, first of all, okay, before I get too sidetracked, there's 2 things you're going to have to make a lot of. Genetics labware. 1 diamond, yes, 1 diamond, and 4 glass panes equals 16 labware. Now here's the real awesome perk. Ta-da! It's got an EE value. Hooray! Which means I can turn other stuff into genetics labware, 1 at a time. You're also going to want to make some blank gene samples. These aren't too bad. This is tin and redstone. And I actually need to make more of these real quick. Let's go get some redstone. I'm going to put that right there. Let's do tin. And I'm just going to grab 16 of those. I'm going to put those back. Okay. These are regular forestry apiaries, by the way. No special tricks, no nothing interesting, except for that. That is 1 lone block of an item conduit from Ender.io. Why do I have an item conduit down here? Well, you set it to in-out, and you turn on this feature, self-feed enabled. What that does is when you put bees in here and they go through their cycle, okay, it will take the drones out, automatically reinsert it in the only valid slot. It will take the queen out from here, or the princess, and reinsert it into the only valid slot. It is a 1 block automation process for apiaries, and it's awesome. That's one of the original reasons why the item conduits from Ender.io had self-feed enabled, specifically to make it easier for Crazy Pants to automate apiaries in forestry. Ta-da! Little history lesson for you. Anyway, I started off with a mutagen producer and a mutatron, because with a mutatron, you can get some labware. You put a princess up here, and you put a drone down here, and they will combine them into a princess and then actually mutate them into all of the possible combinations. You see this down here, 271 different combinations. Forest Princess plus modest equals common. All these common drones. Cultivated. That's an embittered and a common. Rocky Princess and a common. Do I have a Rocky? I thought I had some Rocky stuff. Specifically because, cultivated. And I have to have a princess. A queen won't do, which is the problem. You only get, really, one queen at a time. One princess at a time. But you get tons and tons of drones, as you can see here. I have loads of modest drones. I have a fair amount of sorceress drones. I even have a good number of common drones lying around somewhere. 624 queens. I think this is the number I've gone through. 11 species, but 1,400 drones, I think, in this chest right here. So, basically what this lets you do is force mutation, right? I could put this in with this and see what they would do. Now, the cool thing is, if I put this here, there are some drones that will and won't work within here. So it won't let you put in something that doesn't work as a valid combination, which is cool. I like that. So these are kind of where you can get started. Running this, I only run one machine in this at a time, except for these two. Ignore those two. I only run one of these at a time. If I'm running the Mutatron, then I'm not using either of these. Now, these are the next step, okay? I get, let's grab some modest drones, okay? I have these blank gene samples and some labware. Do I have any spare labware? Modest. I think I was going to peel these apart. Yep. See, these are all genetically the same. I have identified all of these, exactly the same traits. Anyway, you get a bee. You put them in there. It consumes one labware, gets one of your blank gene samples, and it's going to pick a random trait off of this bee. Flowering, slowest. Then, if you want to keep that, you have this thing called a genetics template. Okay? That is just like the sample, the blank sample template, plus some extra redstone. It only makes one instead of making however many. Well, I think those other ones make one at a time anyway. Anyway, so, yeah. So, I can get this, if I wanted to. Get this, and it would get that flowering if you look. It's third or fourth line from the bottom, flowering slowest. If this was flowering fastest, and I put this in with this, then this one would say flowering fastest. You pull this out, and that is how you piece together a genetic template. You add in all these traits. As I put in new ones, it'll override the old ones. Get the old template, put it in here. Throw another bee through the process. Now here's the thing. If I get something tolerant flyer false, I don't like that. Stick it in the furnace. The furnace auto exports to an item conduit, Ender IO item conduit that pipes it out and over and sticks it back in this machine. Went from 27 back to 28. Ta-da! Nice and easy. And then you can go back to processing things to see if you can find something. Now, if you look over here, it says 11 out of 13 chromosomes. If I hold down shift, it shows me what I'm missing. Species and cave dwelling. I'm looking for the, cave dwelling, false. There we go. Cave dwelling means it doesn't need sun, direct exposure to sky, which is actually very useful, but I have not found enough of supply of a cave dwelling bee that I can actually use. Now, the next thing that I actually need, I'm going to put those back, is enough of a supply of common drones that I can get the common species. I had sorceress at one time, but I don't want just sorceress. I'd rather have common or cultivated. Let's see. Territory average. Don't need it. put it in the oven, it gets cooked and cycled back in. You'll see this go from 27 to 28. There we go. And this is the boring part. This is where you're picking apart a bee and trying to find specific functions. This is the genetic sampler and the genetic imprinter. You can even remember what they are by the fact that the symbols on the front, this looks like a little sample gene, a blank gene sample right there, same shape. This looks like a template, same thing. It's very easy symbology and I like it. Tolerant flyer, true. Don't care though. And this is where the boredom sets in. This is where it takes a little bit of repetition. Let's see. Speed fast. What do I have on this one? Speed fast. So, don't need it. Get this. Process. Humidity tolerance down 1. Now this is actually one of the important things. If you look towards the bottom, actually about towards the middle, humidity tolerance down 1. Towards the bottom, temperature tolerance down 2. Which means that basically these can handle hot to cooler temperatures, medium to cooler temperatures. So it's like normal to cold is what these can actually deal with. And humidity, they can deal with normal to, I think, dry. So I'm getting them to where these things can, because this environment I'm in is actually, it looks like a forest, but it's not a forest. It's actually a desert, stupidly enough. I think that's dumb. I don't know why the woodland biome has the same temperature statistics as a desert, but it does. So, let's see, humidity tolerance. I don't need that one. Whoops. There we go. Stick that in the furnace, cook it, and cycle it back through. And I repeat this process over and over. Now, once you get a completed profile, I'm missing one thing. Lifespan shorter. The one thing I'm actually missing now is species. That's it. And that is the rarest thing to pull off, which basically means once I get that, I could turn any bee, let's say I get the species common drone, I can turn any bee into a common drone. That's why it's a big deal. And, oh gosh. Okay, so I'm going to have to make some more common drones. Let's see, I'm going to get these forest drones. Oh, common drones. That's where the spares went. Common princess, common, okay. Woo! I was worried for a minute there. So, okay, let's go over to these. Industrial apiaries. Right? These consume power to simulate an apiary. However, these are better than the apiaries from forestry. The reason that these are better is because you can customize them and they're only 1 block tall. Now, an apiary doesn't, I don't think it requires power. I can't remember. I think it does actually because of lights and fans and stuff like that. But you can get these. Industrial apiary, the forest queen, okay? Let's take these out real quick. One of the things you'll want to make early on is a beealyzer. A beealyzer is actually really easy to make. It is tin, some glass panes, 1 diamond, 1 redstone, and a carpenter with water in it. I have one of those in the coop. So, you open it up, you put some honey drops in here. You're only going to get these after you start getting honeycomb from just doing some bees in a normal apiary. You're going to build up a little bit of honeycomb. Once you get some honeycomb of any kind, mundane comb, honeycomb, let's get a full stack of honeycomb. Go back in here. And I have a centrifuge. Put that in there. It separates out all the component parts. You get beeswax and honey. And the honey gets used for a lot of stuff in forestry, a lot of stuff in bee research, etc., etc. So I'm just going to put those in there. So you stock this with honey. You can get a bee, right? And I can see it's got a slightly higher than average fertility. The normal fertility is 2. And this is a slightly higher one, 3. That's good. It's got an average area, slower, shorter, etc., etc. Put it down here. Temperature tolerance. This is normal. This is basically plains. The problem is I live in a desert, so I can't breed these bees. Oh, see, these are normal, but down to inactive. These actually have climate normal, but they can take colder temperatures. And I need to find some hot bees that I can get both out of. Temperature tolerances, so I can get both too, and that way it'll go up or down. And that's what I'm working on. Humidity tolerance from normal to dry. That's good. That's good. I need to find higher humidity tolerances, though. So these things don't like the temperatures they normally work in. Let's see. Down to, okay, so if I get this Forest Queen and run it through there, it is going to start getting the actual traits that this has. Shorter lifespan, normal territory, fertility 3. It's going to have the same temperature tolerances that it didn't have before. It's going to have the same one as this one. Now, I don't have a species on here, so I can't change its species, but that's fine. So if you look now, 15 generations in captivity. Now, suddenly, instead of just normal, it's got normal to down 2, normal to down 1 for temperature and tolerance. That's good. It's now got diurnal and nocturnal, which means it'll work during the day and the night. It's got a tolerant flyer, which means it will work during the rain. Important stuff. So I go in here, Queen, drone, and I've got plains emulation upgrade right there. I've got an open sky upgrade, which means I could have this boxed in. This is covered up. So with this open sky upgrade, I actually don't think that counts as I don't think these carpenter slopes count as blocking. You can get enchantment set up. Yepers, 2 different kinds. Yeah, so now I can put these in here. Always on. And then I've got an automation upgrade. What this means is you can come over here and it will just keep going. It'll keep getting all of the actual drones, cycling them back into the slot. It'll keep cycling the princess into the top slot, and it does everything automatically. That's why I have 15 generations of that in captivity. I let them go over the whole weekend. Over here, I can actually get my common princess. Where did all my... There we go. Now, see, here's the other thing I need to show you. So now I just did a straight up plains emulation. Now, if I wanted to, and I had bees, let's say I'm emulating the plains, but I had bees that aren't tolerant flyers. Seal upgrade. This gives them rain protection, but as you can see, all of these consume extra power cost. So this goes up from 20 RF a tick to about 22, then 25, then yada, yada, yada. That increases the energy cost by 10%. These maximum temperature tolerances. This lets you adjust a cooler upgrade. There's also a heater upgrade. This lets you adjust the temperature within the apiary so you can put whatever kind of bees you want to. Put these in here. Put one of those in there. We're going to turn that on and it's going to go. And you can see, you see the little particle effects? The first place was just temporary. He's now working on his. So yeah, I have 2 different kinds of bees going. They're working at night. If I wanted to, I could take out automation and put daytime simulation if I didn't have nocturnal on the bees. Why did I not identify these? Normal, 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 normal. These have nothing remarkable about them. Oh, these have shortest lifespan. Fast production speed. That could be nice. Flowers. Cultivated. I need to get both for temperature tolerances and humidity tolerances. Let's see. So I actually have a very nice setup. Let's see. Territory average. Don't care. I have a nice setup where I've got 2 of these, and I could just use these to do my bees. Now here's the cool thing though. This lets me force a mutation, whereas this, it's by chance, right? I have a chance of getting a mutation here. Over here, I have a chance of getting a mutation. Over here, it's guaranteed. North side. There he is. Blue Sunrise is one of the authors of immersive engineering. Normal enchanting 4th floor. It's hard to miss. Not, it's hard to spot. Yeah, 4th floor. Technically, 4th and 5th. So yeah, this is what I've been working on. US counts 1st floor as the ground floor. Yep. Silly Americans. This is the setup I've been working with, okay? Basically, this is where the advanced stuff gets in. I'm not going to go into this episode because I barely even understand this stuff right now. But this is the basics, right? Mutagen, Mutatron. And you could probably stop there and not even use the apiaries, because I could get this and get 2 breeds, cultivated. Let's say I have a marshy princess and a common drone. It uses a little bit of mutagen. It uses 1 labware. I'm gonna be swapping the books for pylons soon anyway. Want me to do that now? Let this process, and we got a cultivated queen. That was the chance from a marshy princess and a common drone. So now I have a cultivated queen. I could come over here to one of these and put that queen in and cycle it through. If you notice, I put it in here. I'm going to get complaints. A, hostile environment. It can't find the right flowers. Or no, it doesn't work in this biome because it's too hot or it's too cold. You see? Hot, 170% of temperature, arid, 20%. The fact that this biome shares the same stats as the desert is dumb. So yeah, higher light level. It's nighttime. Duh. Okay. So it can't work within this biome, which means I'm having to simulate biome. So what I'm going to do, this is going to actually end. I'm going to take out automation. This is going to end here in just a minute. Maybe. I don't know. There we go. So now I have forest princesses, a whole bunch of drones, apparently with varying stats and capabilities. So I can put this apiary in. This bee in. It's not nighttime. It's not daytime. So what I can actually do is I'm going to do an automation upgrade. I'm going to put that right there. Actually, wait a minute. First thing I need to do first is analyze this. Anything interesting? Nope, all generic. It has no temperature tolerances at all, but I can use this to get more of that bee type. It won't work until it's daytime, unfortunately, but I'm going to leave the automation upgrade in and everything else. I'm actually going to put the rain shield in because this does not have tolerant flyer. So that means the only time that's not going to work is at nighttime. So, this is the basics of Gendustry. Next episode, I'm actually going to get into the advanced stuff, the more advanced stuff, which involves getting a completed template and actually making a bee from this goop and the completed template. But I actually do have to get a finished template at some point, and I'm still working on that. Also, in the next episode, we're going to go over the, let's see, advanced Mutatron, yes. So with the advanced Mutatron, instead of just putting two things in and hoping, you can actually put two bee breeds in and pick exactly which breed you want. That basically breaks the entire rest of the process, and it means that all you have to do is get two breeds of each kind, and that's it. I think you just gave me the last word, Hunter's Choice. Wow. Tribute to the Chicken Mafia. Your graciousness will not go unrewarded. Should work well on werewolves. I don't know if I spelled that right. Anyway, so Advanced Mutatron. Genetic Replicator. I'll get into those next episode. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on bees. Do not worry. Next episode, I actually want to spend some time on BuildCraft, of all things. But we will visit the bees a little bit. Thank you very much for swinging by. ForgeCraft 2. I really appreciate it. Can't wait to hear some feedback on the bee nonsense. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.